Here's the secret that changed everything for me. I started running Uber Eats and DoorDash at the exact same time. 2 phones, 2 apps, 1 driver. The key is learning to stack orders from different restaurants heading in the same direction. My first week trying this, $1,400, and I'm no different than you. Look at this. Both apps are pinging me with orders right now. The purple dot is Uber, the red dot is DoorDash. When you run them together, you're not waiting around for one company to send you work. You're creating your own demand. The secret is knowing which orders to take and which ones to decline. See those bags? Red for Uber, blue for DoorDash. I keep them both in the car ready to go. Before I head out, I check both apps and plan my route. The magic happens when you get an Uber pickup and a DoorDash pickup from restaurants that are right next to each other. Double the pay for the same drive. This is where the money happens. I'm parked in a hot zone between 5 different restaurants. Uber's offering me a taco order. DoorDash just pinged me for burgers from the same block. I can grab both, deliver them a mile apart, and pocket $25 for 20 minutes of work. That's efficiency. And here's the proof. That number right there, $1,400 for 1 week of smart stacking. The customer just handed me a cash tip on top of what I already made in the app. When you treat this like a business instead of a job, the numbers start looking real different real fast. Let's break down that $1,400. $800 came from Uber Eats, $600 from DoorDash. That's 40 hours of work at an average of $35 per hour. But here's the catch. I only accepted orders that made sense. I declined the lowball offers and waited for the good ones. That's the mindset shift. The double dip strategy works because of overlap. See these circles? The purple zone is where Uber pays surge pricing. The red zone is DoorDash's busy area, where they overlap. That's the sweet spot. You park there, and both apps feed you orders. Same neighborhood, double the pay, half the dead miles. But let me warn you about something. If you take orders from both apps without paying attention, you'll get hit with late penalties. $15 here, $8 there. That's $200 a week down the drain. The danger is accepting everything that pops up. You have to be strategic, not greedy. Here's the winning formula. Log into both apps, find the hot zone where they overlap, and only accept orders that make sense together. Stack them from restaurants close to each other. Decline anything that takes you out of your zone without paying enough. Do that consistently, and $1,400 a week is absolutely achievable. You know, looking out at this view reminds me that money isn't the whole story. The freedom to work when I want, take a break when I need it, and still hit my numbers. That's the real win. These delivery apps gave me that flexibility. And once you figure out the system, it gives you options you never had before. Let me show you what a hot zone actually looks like. See this map? Purple dots are Uber orders. Red dots are DoorDash. Right here in the center, they're clustered together. That's where you want to be. When you're positioned in that overlap, both apps compete to send you work. You're not chasing orders, they're coming to you. This is what efficiency looks like in action. I just picked up from 3 different restaurants, all within 2 blocks of each other, 2 Uber orders, 1 DoorDash. They're all going to homes in the same neighborhood. Instead of 3 separate trips burning gas, I'm doing 1 smart loop. That's how you push past $25 an hour. But watch out for this, I got greedy and took too many orders at once. Now I'm standing here with 4 bags, 2 different pickup times, and restaurants that aren't ready. The phone is giving me warnings, the customers are getting impatient, and I'm about to be late on everything. This is the burnout moment. Learn to say no. See how much better this feels. I paused 1 app, focused on the high-value orders, and took a breath. Now I'm sitting here with 1 bag that's paying me $15 for a 3-mile drive. Being selective isn't lazy, it's smart. You make more money per hour when you stop chasing every single ping. And that selectivity adds up. Here's the payoff for a week of smart decisions. $1,400, some of it from Uber, some from DoorDash, and a good chunk from customers who tipped because I was on time and friendly. When you treat people right and run your numbers like a business, the cash stacks up. Let's get into the actual math. 40 hours of work, 70 total deliveries. That's about $20 an hour average. But here's what that really looks like. Uber gave me $800. DoorDash gave me $600. The difference: DoorDash had higher peak pay during dinner rushes. Uber was steady all day. Know your apps. Optimization is everything. First, you hunt the hot zones. That's where orders cluster. Second, you batch orders from the same restaurants or nearby spots. Third, you avoid dead time by knowing which hours pay. Dinner rush from 5 to 8 is prime time. Lunch is good but shorter. Learn the patterns and you add $12 an hour easy. Now, the part nobody likes talking about: taxes. When you work for these apps, you're self-employed. That means you owe self-employment tax around 15% plus income tax. But here's the good news. You can deduct mileage, your phone bill, even those hot bags, track everything. Set aside 25% of every paycheck so April isn't a nightmare. So what's the real number after all that? $1,400 gross becomes about $950 net after gas, wear and tear, and taxes. That's still almost $1,000 a week for 40 hours of work where you're your own boss. No schedule, no uniform, no one breathing down your neck. That's real money with real freedom. This right here is why I keep doing this. Not just for the money, but for moments like this. Watching the sunset, knowing I earned the day on my own terms. The hustle is real, but so is the reward. When you work smart instead of just hard, you create space for peace, and peace is its own kind of wealth. Here's something that changed my entire experience. I started treating restaurant workers like partners instead of obstacles. See that handshake? That's me and a kitchen manager who now hands me orders first because I'm respectful and patient. When you build relationships, your wait times drop and your earnings go up. Simple human decency pays. And look at the payoff. While those other drivers are waiting in line, I'm walking out with 2 orders. The restaurant knows I'm reliable, so they prioritize my pickups. This isn't favoritism, it's earned trust. 10 extra minutes saved per shift adds up to an extra $50 a week. All from being a decent human. Once you build relationships at a few spots, you create a network. Tacos here, pizza there, bubble tea around the corner. I know the staff at all these places. They know I'll treat their food with care. So when I walk in, they're already bagging my order. That's the difference between hustling alone and running a system. Sometimes the perks go beyond just faster service. This diner owner knows I bring them business, so I get a free drink and a snack while I wait. It's a small thing, but it changes the whole vibe of the job. You're not just a cog in a machine, you're part of the neighborhood. That feeling matters more than you'd think. And when you figure it out, you pass it on. This new driver was struggling, so I pulled him aside and showed him what I've learned. The phone setup, the hot zones, the restaurant relationships, now he's making real money too. The delivery community is stronger when we help each other. A rising tide lifts all boats. Once you master 2 apps, it's time to think bigger. $1,400 a week is great, but what about $2,000? Add a 3rd app like Grubhub and suddenly you're covering even more ground. More apps mean more pings, more options, more chances to stack orders. The ceiling is higher than most people realize. Each app has its own personality. Uber peaks during dinner, DoorDash kills it at lunch, Grubhub pulls late-night orders when the others slow down. Learn the rhythms and you can run all 3 without getting overwhelmed. The overlap zone where all 3 are busy, that's where you make 40 plus an hour during the right windows. Running multiple apps drains your phone fast. I carry a 20,000 milliamp power bank and extra cables. Dead phone means dead earnings. Some drivers even run 2 phones, one for Uber, one for DoorDash. A decent data plan and the right gear isn't an expense, it's an investment in your hourly rate. When you combine everything, multiple apps, hot zones, restaurant relationships, and the right gear, you're not just delivering food, you're running a business. The Mastery Map connects all the dots, and when they're connected, the income follows. $2,000 a week becomes realistic. Not easy, but absolutely realistic. Sometimes you need to step back and appreciate where you are. This view reminds me that the hustle is a means to an end, not the end itself. The money lets you breathe. It lets you take a moment like this without worrying about the next bill. And when you breathe, you remember why you started in the first place. Now let's talk about a game changer. Ditching the car in the city. I switched to an electric bike last month, and my whole perspective shifted. No more sitting in traffic, no more hunting for parking, no more gas costs. In dense urban areas, a bike is faster, cheaper, and honestly more fun. And customers love it. Look at that line of cars stuck in traffic. While they're burning gas and getting nowhere, I'm zipping past in the bike lane. That order that would take a driver 20 minutes in rush hour, I'm there in 8. More deliveries per hour means more money per hour. In the city, 2 wheels beat 4 every single time. Rain doesn't stop me anymore. A good waterproof bag and the right rain gear means I work when other drivers go home. Less competition means more orders and higher pay. Customers appreciate the effort too. Wet nights mean bigger tips. The purple raincoat isn't just a look, it's a signal that I show up no matter what. One of the best parts of this job is the community. Here in the Restaurant Hub, drivers share tips about which spots are busy, which apps are surging, which neighborhoods tip best. We're competitors, but we're also in it together. The collective knowledge of a good driver crew is worth more than any single app strategy. And that community celebrates together too. Look at this crew. We all hit our goals this week. The bikes, the bags, the phones, the system, it works. When you find your people and share what works, the journey gets easier. $1,400 a week isn't a solo mission, it's a team sport. Here's the urban math. In a car, I average 12 deliveries in a busy hour. On the bike, that number jumps to 18. That's 50% more deliveries without 50% more work. No gas costs, no parking headaches, no traffic stress. Urban agility adds $50 a day to my bottom line. Easy choice. And the cost difference is huge. The car costs me $100 a week in gas, parking, and maintenance. The bike, $10 for electricity and minimal upkeep. That's $90 extra in my pocket every single week over a year. That's almost $5,000 for what? Riding a bike instead of sitting in a car? Here's a bonus nobody talks about. The bike keeps me in shape. I'm burning 800 calories a shift, getting fresh air, building endurance. I'm getting paid to stay healthy instead of paying a gym membership. My doctor actually congratulated me on my blood pressure. Last visit. Try getting that from a delivery car. Urban delivery mastery is about combining all these pieces. Agility gets you more deliveries, savings put money back in your pocket. Health is its own reward, and community makes it sustainable. When you put it all together, you're not just earning, you're building a lifestyle. And that lifestyle pays better than any single strategy. Standing here looking out at this, I realize how far the journey has taken me. Not just in miles delivered, but in perspective. The desert has a way of making you feel small in the best way. It reminds you that the money is just fuel for the life you actually want to live. And that life, it's out there waiting. City strategy is one thing. Suburbs are another animal entirely. Longer drives, spread out houses, bigger tips. The car becomes essential again. I load up the trunk with bags before I head out, because in the suburbs you're covering miles between orders. The rhythm is slower, but each stop pays more. Different game, different rules. And the suburbs come with their own headaches. Look at this. Dark street, no house numbers, GPS showing the wrong spot. I've wasted 15 minutes on a single delivery before because I couldn't find the place. That's time I could have been earning. Night deliveries in the burbs require patience and a good flashlight on your phone. But here's how you solve it. Customers leave notes. Look for the gnome, the fish mailbox, the red door. I keep those notes in my phone, and suddenly every delivery gets easier. That gnome right there, that's the landmark that saved me 10 minutes tonight. Communication and observation turn suburban chaos into smooth sailing. Batching is even more important out here. I don't take random orders spread across the county. I wait until I have 3 or 4 going to the same neighborhood. Then I stack them and run them as a loop. Less driving, more delivering, better gas mileage. Batching in the suburbs isn't optional, it's survival. And when you batch, right, you finish early. Look at that clock, 4 in the afternoon, and I'm done for the day. Dinner with the family, time to relax, no stress. The money is already in the bank. Working smart in the suburbs means you don't have to work late. That trade-off, worth more than an extra shift. This is what we're really after. $1,400 a week is great, but what about 30 hours instead of 40? When you optimize everything, you can hit the same number with 10 fewer hours. That's 10 hours for family, hobbies, rest. Money is important. Time is priceless. Work smart so you can live full. And that money adds up to real things. $15,000 for a house down payment, $5,000 for a vacation, $10,000 in investments. Every delivery is a brick in the foundation of your future. When you see it that way, a $5 order isn't just $5, it's a piece of something bigger. But you have to protect your energy. Burnout is real. If you grind 7 days a week without breaks, you'll crash. I take Sundays off. I eat real food, not gas station snacks. I sleep 8 hours. Rest isn't weakness, it's maintenance. A rested driver makes better decisions and more money than a burned out one. Look at this map of the whole journey. First delivery to multi-app to hot zones, to relationships, to gear, to urban agility, to suburban batching. Every step built on the last, and now I'm passing it on. The journey doesn't end when you figure it out. It continues when you help someone else do the same. Standing here at the Grand Canyon, halfway through this journey, I'm reminded how small we are and how big the world is. All those deliveries, all those miles, all those interactions, they add up to something, but they're also just the beginning. The road ahead is longer than the road behind, and that's the exciting part. Food delivery is just the beginning. Look at all these new icons. Grocery delivery, package delivery, even alcohol. These pay more because there's more work involved. A grocery run might take an hour, but pays $25 plus tip. That's double what a food order averages. Expand your services and you expand your income. Grocery delivery is a whole different skill. The customer wants organic tomatoes, but they're out. I text them a photo of the options and wait for their choice. It takes patience, but it builds trust. And trust shows up in tips. Grocery customers tip bigger because they know you put in the effort to get it right. And the handoff is heavier, but more satisfying. 6 bags of groceries for a family who doesn't have time to shop themselves. The mom meets me at the door with a smile and a cash tip. She's grateful, I'm appreciated, and everyone wins. These deliveries feel different. They feel like you're actually helping people, not just dropping off food. Alcohol delivery requires extra responsibility. I have to check IDs, scan them in the app, make sure the customer is actually old enough. It's more steps, but the payout reflects that. Alcohol orders tip higher and the base pay is better. Plus, most drivers avoid the hassle, so there's less competition. Responsibility pays. And when you add it all up, the numbers climb: food, groceries, alcohol, packages. Suddenly, 1,400 becomes 1,800. Diversifying your deliveries protects you when one type slows down. Rainy Tuesday, slowing food orders. Groceries are still busy. Late nights slow for everything. Alcohol deliveries pick up. Multiple streams, steady income. Here's the breakdown of that 1,800. 60% from food, that's your bread and butter. 25% from groceries, fewer orders but higher pay. 15% from alcohol and packages, extra responsibility, extra reward. Diversifying your services changes your entire income profile. You're not just a food delivery driver anymore. Grocery delivery has its own hacks. Learn the store layout and you save 15 minutes per order. Produce here, dairy there, frozen in the back, batch orders by aisle. Grab all the canned goods for both orders at once. Text customers immediately about substitutions. Speed and communication turn grocery runs from tedious to profitable. Package delivery comes with its own challenges. Apartment buildings with confusing codes, gates that don't work, customers who don't answer, but I've learned the tricks. Check the app notes first. Text the customer before I arrive. Use the call box feature. 10 minutes saved per apartment adds $50 a week. Every problem has a solution. Now you're not just delivering. You're running a diversified delivery business. Food covers the volume, groceries cover the high pay. Packages cover the consistency. Rain or shine, weekday or weekend, there's always something to deliver. When one stream slows, another picks up. Diversification isn't just for investors, it's for drivers too. Standing here in the vineyard, I think about harvest. All those deliveries were seeds I planted. Some grew fast, some took time, but they all contributed to the harvest I'm enjoying now. The work you put in today doesn't just pay today. It builds towards something bigger. Every delivery is a seed, don't underestimate them. Now, let's talk about the next level. Once the money is coming in, where does it go? I started putting 20% of every week's earnings into an investment account, not a savings account, an investment account. That money started working while I slept. Delivery income funds, investment income. And investment income is passive. See that snowball rolling downhill? That's compounding. You start with a little, it rolls, picks up more snow, gets bigger, rolls faster. A small amount invested consistently grows the same way. 20% of $1,400 is $280 a week. Over 30 years at 7%, that's over $1 million from delivery. But you have to choose your path. Index funds grow slow and steady, that's the tree path. Dividend stocks pay you cash along the way, that's the winged piggy bank. High-yield savings keeps your money safe and liquid, that's the shield. Most drivers mix all three, different tools for different goals. The trick is automation. I set up automatic transfers so every Monday morning, $280 moves from my checking to my investment account. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to decide. It just happens. Consistency beats intensity every time. Automate your investments and let the system do the work. And years later, this is what it looks like. Passive income flowing in while I sit here watching the lake. Dividend checks arrive, whether I work or not. My portfolio grows, whether I check it or not. All those deliveries, all those years of consistency. They built this view. Not bad for a job I started just to make ends meet. Let's run the numbers one more time. $1,400 a week times 52 weeks is $72,800 a year. Invest 20% of that, $14,560, and let it compound at 7% for 10 years. That's $200,000 for doing nothing but being consistent. Now you have to pick the right vehicle. Roth IRA grows tax-free. You pay taxes now, never again. Traditional IRA saves you taxes today. You pay later. Brokerage gives you flexibility. You pay as you go. For most drivers starting out, Roth is the winner. Lock in today's tax rate and never worry again. But here's the hard part. Staying calm when the market drops. It will drop. It always does. And when it does, you'll want to panic. Don't. Market drops are buying opportunities. That stock on sale today will be worth more tomorrow. Time in the market beats timing the market. Breathe, hold, and keep investing. So let's put it all together. $1,400 a week for 40 years is $2.9 million earned. Invest 20% of that at 7% and you turn $2.9 million into over $5 million. That's not magic, that's math. Your deliveries can fund $1 million retirement. Every single order contributes. Boston reminds me that we're part of something bigger. All those people walking these streets, living their lives, chasing their dreams. The financial habits we build ripple out beyond just us. They affect our families, our communities, our future. Sitting here on this bench, I feel connected to all of it. And grateful. Now we're talking about legacy. Look at this family tree. At the base, a delivery bag. Growing up through the branches, college funds, first homes, security for generations. A single delivery today can fund a grandchild's education decades from now. That's not dramatic. That's compound interest. You're not just earning, you're building. A 529 plan is a perfect example. Put money in today, it grows tax-free and comes out tax-free for education. That $280 a week in 18 years, that's over $200,000 for a child's college. No debt, no stress, no loans, all from deliveries made before they could walk. But the money is only half the legacy. The other half is knowledge. I'm sitting here with my grandchild, showing them the apps, explaining how it works. They're learning that money doesn't grow on trees. It grows from effort, strategy, and consistency. And they're learning it from someone who lived it. That's priceless. And now they're ready to start their own journey. Look at them. Phone in hand, bag ready, nervous but excited. They've watched me do this for years. They've seen the ups and downs, and now they're taking the wheel themselves. Passing the torch feels better than hitting any earnings goal. The legacy continues. This might be my favorite delivery ever. Side by side with my grandchild, both of us working, both of us earning, both of us learning. They're faster on the apps than I am now. They've got better routes, but they still ask my opinion on which orders to take. That connection, that's the real payout. So let's summarize the ultimate lesson. Hustle smart, invest wisely, teach others, and repeat. That's the wheel that builds generational wealth. It's not complicated. It's not a secret. It's just consistency over time. One delivery leads to one investment, leads to one lesson, leads to another delivery. The wheel keeps turning. And here's what that wheel produces. Your $1,400 a week, invested for 30 years, becomes over $1 million. Pass that to your child. Invested another 30 years, becomes over $4 million. Pass that to your grandchild, and it's over $17 million. All from deliveries you made in your lifetime. That's not a dream, that's math. But the greatest gift isn't the money, it's the knowledge. Teaching your kids and grandkids how to manage money, how to invest, how to think about work, that's what lasts. Money can be spent. Knowledge compounds forever. A wealthy child is one who knows how to handle $1. Teach them young, and they'll thank you forever. And now it's your turn. Download an app, grab a bag, head to a hot zone, make your first delivery. It's that simple. You don't need to be rich to start. You don't need to know everything. You just need to start. The path is waiting, and I'll be right here cheering you on every step of the way. This lake reminds me that peace is the final goal. Not the money, not the hustle, not the legacy. Peace. The ability to sit quietly and just be. The deliveries gave me that, the investments protected that, and now, sitting here with a fishing pole, I've found it. Peace. It was waiting for me the whole time. It all starts here. One bag, one phone, one decision. That's all it took for me. That's all it takes for you. Everything we talked about, the apps, the zones, the relationships, the investments, the legacy, it all starts with this moment. One delivery, one step, one yes, the rest follows. Consistency is the secret sauce. Look at this calendar. Every marked day is a shift worked, not a heroic effort, just steady presence. Day after day, week after week, the bags stack up, the cash stacks up, the investments stack up. Consistency beats intensity every time. Show up, do the work, watch it grow. And when you show up consistently, people notice. Friends ask how you're doing it, family wants to learn. Suddenly, you're not just a delivery driver, you're an inspiration. This whole group started because one person saw my journey and wanted their own. Your success ripples out farther than you'll ever know. It ripples to the restaurants too. This place was struggling before delivery apps took off. Now they're packed every night. The owner and I have become friends. We helped each other. Delivery drivers keep local businesses alive. We're not just earning, we're supporting our communities. That's something to be proud of. Look at this wall. Photos of everyone I've met, everyone I've helped, everyone who's helped me. Family, friends, fellow drivers, restaurant owners, customers, all connected by one thing. A delivery, one simple act, repeated thousands of times, created all these connections. That's the legacy I never expected. That's what matters most. Here's the whole journey on one board. From a single delivery to generational wealth, it looks like a long road, but you only travel it one step at a time. Start with one app, add another, find your zones, build relationships, invest a little, teach someone, repeat. That's the path. And it's open to everyone. Let's look at the lifetime numbers. 15,000 deliveries, 200,000 miles, $2.9 million earned, 5.8 million in wealth created, hundreds of lives touched. Those aren't just numbers, they're proof. Proof that a simple idea executed consistently changes everything. Your numbers will look different, but they'll be yours. And through it all, the most important lesson is this: give back. Help a new driver, tip generously, buy a meal for someone struggling. The money will come and go, but the connections you make, the kindness you show, that compounds forever. What you give comes back tenfold, not always in cash, but in meaning. So here's the open door, your turn. We've shown you the path, shared the lessons, laid out the numbers. Now it's up to you. Download the app, make the first delivery, Take the first step. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single delivery, and that delivery, it's waiting for you right now. Sitting here by the fire, watching the snow fall, I feel complete. Not because I made a certain amount of money, because I lived a certain kind of life. One built on effort, strategy, connection, and purpose. The deliveries were the vehicle. The life was the destination. I hope you find your own version of this view. Sometimes the simplest deliveries are the most meaningful. A warm meal to someone who's had a long day, a smiling face at the door, a genuine thank you that never gets old. The money is great, but these moments remind me why the work matters. We're not just moving food, we're bringing a little warmth. And at the end of a shift, sitting in the quiet car, looking at the day's earnings, that feeling is real. Not just the number, but what it represents. Another day of showing up, another day of serving people, another day of building something. The satisfaction of a job well done beats any quick win. One drop creates ripples that never stop. That first delivery you make will affect everything after. It leads to more orders, more skills, more income, more investments, more connections. You can't see the full ripple from the drop point, but years later, you'll look back and realize that one moment changed everything. Look at all these lights. Each one is a life touched. Family, friends, customers, fellow drivers, restaurant workers, all connected, all part of the same web. And at the center, one light brighter than the rest, the first delivery, the one that started it all. Your web will look different, but it will be just as beautiful. It all starts with one delivery, one decision, one moment of courage. That's all it takes to begin a journey that could change your life, your family's life, maybe even your community's life. The path is open, the tools are ready. The only question left is, will you take the first step? I hope you do. Here's the formula one last time. Consistency plus time plus compounding equals infinite legacy. It's simple enough to write on a board, but powerful enough to change generations. Start, stay, grow, pass it on. That's it. That's everything. And it's available to anyone willing to put in the work. Top 5 lessons, master multiple apps, find your hot zones, build relationships, optimize every shift, invest and pass it on. That's the whole course in 5 points. Master these and you're not just earning, you're building. And what you build can outlast you by generations. That's the goal, that's the dream. One delivery creates ripples. Those ripples turn into dollars, which turn into savings, which turn into investments, which turn into security, which turns into legacy. You can't see the end from the beginning, but you can trust that every drop matters. Your ripples will reach places you'll never know, and that's the beauty of it. Thank you for watching, for listening, for considering this path. The journey from a single delivery to generational wealth isn't a secret, it's a choice. And now you have the map. Where you go from here is up to you, but know that I'm grateful to have shared it with you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. So here we are at the end of this journey, or maybe it's your beginning. The pier stretches out behind me, but the road ahead is yours to walk. Take what you've learned, make it your own, and build something beautiful. I'll be right here waving from the shore, cheering you on. Go make your ripples, go build your legacy.